some of the stuff will be on file. It is 2:02 on what is it, February 13th? And
January?
January 13th. What year is this anyway? I believe me, I've made some mistakes. I made I made a mistake this morning sending out a reminder to
You're
everybody
not alone, Ray.
starting at noon, but hey, who's counting a couple hours? Um, okay. Um, we have a quorum, so the meeting is beginning. Is there any public comment? There is not. So I'll go on to approval of minutes of December 9th. Um, is there a motion to approve the minutes of December 9th? We have three voting members here. Um, you were not at the meeting, were you, Steve? December 9th, correct?
I'm sorry.
He
Say that
he
again,
could
man. I didn't
still
hear you.
vote, Ray.
Doesn't the vote mean that he has to at least look at the minutes?
Um, yeah, he would have to. I mean, yeah, it would be so the voting is your confidence in the minute taker, essentially.
There again, I'm
Um, so
sorry.
so with the vote, um, just because if you were to ever get like a newer member or something, and you were replacing a member, and you needed a quorum because of the member, the way they frame minutes, and voting on minutes is not necessarily if you were there or not, but if it's your confidence in the what's being presented.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll buy that. So, then is there a motion to approve the minutes of December 9th? Either Shirley or Steve.
So moved.
Motion made. Is there a second? Shirley, you
Over
there?
you, Shirley.
Sometimes she has trouble with the, can you hear us, Shirley?
Hello?
Oh, now can you hear us?
I hear you. You hear me? No.
Just kind of coming
Yeah,
in and out for me.
yeah, I know. She's Pat, hi, Pat. We need you, Pat.
Yes,
Um, we have a motion to approve the minutes of December 9th, and Shirley seems to be having some electrical problems. It's been motions made to approve. Is there a second to that motion, Pat?
would you repeat the question, please?
Yes, there's a motion made to approve the minutes to December 9th meeting.
Oh, sure.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the minutes of December 9th? Hearing none, all in favor of the minutes of December 9th, say aye. Aye,
Hi.
aye. Okay, good. Hopefully the rest of the meeting won't be that difficult. Um, okay, now, um, I first apologize for not keeping track of things between the last meeting and this meeting. So if I screw up, as I did in terms of reminding you, please step in and tell me that I'm missing something or whatever. Um, the Nicole is not here at this point, but I believe everything is okay. On the Tree City. She submitted everything on time. Paul got her the information she needed, and I believe we're all set to become a Tree City for 2026, which is good. Any comments on that or anything? Okay,
I can just confirm that, right, that she sent it to us to get it signed. We sent it back and she confirmed that she was submitted.
right. I thought you did, whether it was you or just good procedure, that it was done very quickly. That Justin signed
Yeah.
it rather quickly. I thought it was done within a day. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
she got it to me. We got it signed and she got it submitted right away.
Does that mean that if you slip something to Justin, he'll sign it right away if we give him something else?
It depends. Depends on the day.
Well, we just might try it sometime. We had uh, our BCCR meeting last night, and we invited Justin to come, which he did, and he was very, very. I was impressed by him. Spoke very clearly and went well. Anyway, Okay. Common trees, I'm not sure we need an update, but Brian, I assume that we're in the same situation regarding the common trees, that it's a wait and see right now. And that, any comment, Brian? You're muted, Brian. You're muted. You're still muted. Nope.
There we
you
go.
go.
How's that?
There you go.
So yes, we're in the same situation we were before on the beech trees on the common. I spent the last couple of weeks looking at trees, the national grids and pruning and removal they wanted to do, and I gave them a permit to go ahead with that.
With what?
The pruning and removal work on street trees that they proposed.
Oh, but are they on the common too, or no?
No, it has nothing to do with the common. This is just
All right.
my activity since I saw you last.
Okay. So it's being done by National Grid, not by the town?
Yeah. No, naturally we'd like to get National Grid to do everything we can. But these are trees that they proposed. I just had to review them and give them a permit to do it. That's essentially my function.
I got it. Okay. Okay.
But on the common trees, no. When we there's nothing to do right now. It's on hold.
Okay. We talked about, even though DCR is saying that no, they're not going to accept any grants this year. I believe we talked about in December that we would come up with a grant proposal with the chance that something might go through. Do you think that's still a worthy effort, Brian in particular?
I don't think I'd spend any time on it because we're not going to get any money. I mean, we probably don't need practice writing grants. We do it when there is money around, and that's probably not going to be in this administration, unless the state comes up with something separately, and I kind of doubt that.
Okay, based on your knowledge, is the DCR the only place we can get grant money from?
That's where everything comes through from the state.
Any other way, any other place getting?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
I don't know. What do the rest of you think? I'm just wondering whether, I think I mentioned before that the head of the Community and Economic Development Committee did say he would write the grant. I'm maybe putting
Yes,
words
he
in
did.
You're saying you don't, it's not worth it, Brian.
If he'd like to do that, that's fine. It doesn't cost us anything, and we can certainly will use it at some point, right? We'll just update it, but it's not going to yield any money in the coming year. It's going to be fruitless. As I said, my thought is at least until this administration is in office, there's not going to be any money through that pipeline. The state doesn't have any of their own; they get it all from the feds.
Hey guys, I'm chiming in a little late as Nicole here, but there are some grant opportunities that will have funding that are state funded. So unfortunately I just haven't had a ton of time, but I did start that research and I have some information.
That's great. I'm just going on what Julie Coop told me a couple of weeks ago, and she does 2 programs through the state.
That's correct. That's probably correct, but there is other money that is coming out from like some climate resilience and vulnerability and some community betterment type grants. So I think that there's others, and there's a brand new one-stop shop that was just launched supposedly in January for grants through the state that we should do some research on as well. Ray, I might have sent that to you, maybe, but we
I-
can dust that off
I
again.
don't remember, but it's probably, you probably did, and then I forget things easily because I don't write things down. But I'm leaning towards doing something in particular. I'm just wondering how much, Nicole, Brian, whether you've had experience in this, I have no idea. But if we're not writing the grant, if Bob Rulli's going to write it, what sort of material do we have to give him? Is it lengthy? I mean, do we have to do some research or what? What's the process here?
Well, I think it's depending on the grants. A lot of them are to replace trees that are diseased or ruined by insects. There are, specific grants for that sort of thing, and that's kind of what we're looking for. I mean, my thought is we've got the 6 or 8 trees on the common right now. They're also in that area going down towards the plaza. All those ash trees are going to be dead shortly. Will need to be replaced as well. So that would be kind of a goal. I think you look for a dollar amount rather than number of trees, and then we'll spend it as we can to do that. But that would be what we'd be replacing, dead and diseased trees.
How about the tree survey that we talked about?
Well, that's a different issue, but that would be great too to get started on that. I'm not going to have time for that right now. From what I'm seeing on the streets, there's quite a number of trees that I'm concerned about that I need to be paying attention to. I'm going to go through them using the DPW's plow routes, so I've got some sort of a methodology for it. But there are quite a number of trees that really need my attention right away, beyond just doing a street inventory.
Okay. So what you're saying is if we can get a grant, that it's best to trim trees and take dead trees down, then it's tree survey, correct?
No, I'm just saying that I personally am already busy just trying to identify hazard trees, that we'd have to do that I'm not going to have time for it. If we were going to raise money, that would certainly be a project to get outside money for. So I'm going to need help with it, or more time, one of the two.
Pat, did you have something?
No,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for the example of one of the grants I think that we would be eligible for, and that was issued at least last June. So obviously we missed it, but if they keep on the same cycle, it'll be this June. Is the Cooling Communities Grant, and basically it says it is intended to provide support for municipalities, nonprofits, organizations, and other eligible entries to pursue impactful tree planting projects to enhance tree canopy within neighborhoods and public spaces, help mitigate extreme heat. So it is a heat related, grant, but I think for us to say that we would be losing this, substantial canopy, we may qualify.
Oh, the heat sink issue definitely works, because those are all street trees in areas that are paved, or have cement walkways. Those are huge heat sinks. And it's kind of a critical area because it's around the town common too. So that definitely is something that could apply.
And that's the executive, the EEA. So that's the executive. So I know DCR may have limited funding, but I think that EEA does. And then there's also some planning grants, and those might be the ones that we would potentially want to talk to Bob Rulli about. But there's one called Accelerating Climate Resilience grant. And again, flood risk and heat impact and such, we could basically use as, the kind of stressors that, we need to keep this canopy and maintain the canopy. So I think that So it
would be helpful if we could see the grant so we can tailor what we're asking for, to meet what they're looking for.
Yes, absolutely. And then also what we need to sort out is that some of the grants require matches, which would be complicated because we would have to be able to get ensure that the town is going to match, kick in a certain amount. Some of them are for construction and planting and such, in which case you need a plan to submit as part of the grant so that they know what they're funding. You need like a plan and a cost estimate, for example. And then some of them are like planning level grants. So I feel like we'll need to like see which ones are relevant and what we could do with them.
Yeah, and that
And
goes
again,
back
I
to-
found 3 so far that I think are relevant, and I wanted to look into the state's new one-stop shop for, grants, but I haven't had a chance to do that.
That sounds great.
I take it these grants you're looking into are different deadlines, Nicole, correct?
Yes.
I mean, are some very soon or?
I don't think so. I think we missed most of them in the June, July of 25. So we
Right.
would be looking probably more, but with knowing that we only meet monthly and such, yes, it probably would end up being very soon.
And it's obviously okay to apply to more than one grant, correct?
And I think that that's what this new one stop has
Okay,
done. It allows you to kind of I don't fully know everything about it, but it's basically going to help you align with multiple different grants through one application process. And Josh, maybe Bob's already on top of this. Maybe others in the town are already kind of looking at this. I think that they were going to roll it out in January. So it might be, yeah, it might be kind of forthcoming till we know a little bit more information about that.
you know anything about it, Josh?
I haven't heard anything. I've done a few grants, but I'm not, connected to any like mailers or anything saying that, updated systems that they might have. But yeah, what I would say is just identify the grants that you guys would like to apply for, and then maybe ping me and Bob. That way I can help you guys track it, and then that way Bob puts it on his radar. I don't think I don't know what Bob has on his plate right now, so I can't say if he's actively searching for grants or anything. But it would be helpful if Nicole could pass along what she's found so far. And then that way we can just at least get eyes on it.
Okay. I think how we should proceed here. Nicole, you said that is there any other, you've basically looked at what's out there, correct, Nicole? I mean, there's not more out there that you just didn't look find, is it correct?
There's hundreds of grants, but based on the any ones that we have experience with, I talked to someone else in my office here that does a lot of our grant organization. She specifically thought about these 3 grants that we would be most relevant to potentially what we could apply for, but certainly we would maybe want to mine a little bit more.
Okay,
Again, the
Yeah.
one was the cooling corridors, one's urban and community tree program, and the other one is like an accelerated climate resiliency.
okay. Of those 3, let's stick with those. Are they requiring matching money? All 3 of them or no?
Don't know. I would have to get into those again.
Okay. Either way, my feeling is that if I'm not sure how much work involved is this, but it seems to me that we should at least try. We don't know, we may get 0, but at least we will have a history of knowing how to do this in the future. And I'm all for trying, and it's up to the rest of you to vote on this. If you want to try, then we need to have a subcommittee. I mean, Nicole obviously is doing a lot. I'll help, or anybody else, and have a meeting with Bob Ruley and Josh, and maybe try to move this forward. Your thoughts? That's the way I'm leaning toward it. Anybody?
Well, I'm happy to help out any way I can.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I agree. We should definitely try for these as many grants as we can.
Okay. Why don't we just work on the 3 that you're talking about? Nicole. Maybe that's the best way to start. How should we
Yeah.
do this? Do you feel you have to get more information, or should we go to Ruli now and Josh and try to set up a meeting?
Well, why don't I forward the three that I found? And maybe if we have a smaller group that wants to focus on this, we can kind of go through them and just at a high level be able to summarize, what's the monetary value? What would it be for? Is it a matching or not? What might the deadline be? At this point, we can just look at what the deadline for 2025 was and assume it might be the same relative date now, because most of them aren't yet announcing when they're going to repost for the 2027 year.
Okay.
In 2025, they awarded the 2026 grants. So I think it's just maybe we do that little bit of due diligence and then maybe we identify which one or if all of them could help us achieve some of our goals. And then we maybe meet with Bob about, writing them. They usually aren't a heavy lift, but you need the municipal agreement and you need, just a brief scope of what you would do and so on.
Sounds okay to me. Rest of you, any comments? So, Nicole, you want to send me, Brian also, the three proposals. Anybody else want to be involved? I just invited you, Brian.
Oh, I'm more than happy to help out.
Yeah. And then we can make decision when to bring Josh and Bob into this. Is that fair enough, Nicole? All right, why don't you
Yes,
send
so-
the three,
Send what I have. Mhm.
what you have to myself and Brian, and then we'll decide. Okay? Fair enough?
And can I just ask to be included just so I can have it on my radar too?
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Josh. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Josh too. Yeah. Okay, very good. All right. Black for Maltby. Pat, you have one picked out, right?
Well, no, I mean, I've been shopping at Bridgewater Trophy and then I came upon another one which I sent to you. That's a small stone.
Right.
And I like the look of that. I'm only concerned about the stability. It doesn't seem to have a large, base. I'm wondering, I don't know. I'd like to pursue that one, the stone, because the price is good. It's only a couple $100, and the small metal plaque from Bridgewater Trophy, after he adds the small not stand, but pole that it goes on, comes to like $400. And the stone is only a couple $100. So,
Well, we have to make sure that it's going to last a while.
oh, well, yeah. I'm going to continue to do a little more research. But the other thing I was concerned about was what we wanted to say on it. Do you know how many years Bill Maltby served as our tree warden?
I don't. That we can find out. That's not. Actually, I'm jumping ahead of the game. I think the first thing is where are we going to plant it and when are we going to plant it? The
You had said it would be in the spring, so
right.
and suggested that it would replace one of the trees that will come down eventually. So I don't know how you want to.
If I'm correct, Brian, you mentioned that we can plant trees without taking the other trees down, correct?
Yeah, in fact, I recommend it.
Right. So it all would require would be to pick a spot and the type of tree. Correct? We don't have to have any preparation in terms of cutting anything else down ahead of time.
No, just pick a spot adjacent to the existing trees.
Okay.
Brian, wasn't there a tree removed that was?
There was a large maple that was removed, at least one. I had a couple of them. I'm not sure if both of them went, but the larger of the two did go.
So there's a space there if we wanted to plant something, right?
Yes, it's on the more, I think, northerly end of the common.
Right, on the
right
left
by the
side.
walk, right
Yeah,
by the walkway.
yep, yep.
I'm not sure if the stump has been excavated yet, but you wouldn't want to plant in exactly the same spot anyways, nearby wherever they can dig. And then it's just a matter of, what type of plant and what size you get.
Just out of curiosity, Brian, assuming we plant something near the stump of the tree that was taken down, are we going to grind that stump down eventually? And if so, is it going to interfere with the new planting?
Yeah, you would definitely want to have any grinding done beforehand. You don't want to plant in exactly the same spot, especially if you've ground it out, because
Right.
the old root system will be a challenge for the new tree. You'd be 5 or 6 feet off one side or the other, adjacent, where we can dig a hole.
Okay. And the best time to plant is,
My preference is always in the fall for everything. The advantage to that is you can't do that with all species, because some species are only dug in the spring and they're only available then. But if you plant in the fall, you don't have the challenge of trying to get over the summer heat and drought. The plant has already got somewhat of a root system established by the time you roll into that again. So I like to see planting done August, September, if possible. But landscapers have to work all year round, so you do it when you do it. But ideally that would be my preference.
okay. Can we, at least between now and the next meeting, identify the spot of where we should plant?
It could go anywhere, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I think Brian's,
It could. It certainly could go anywhere. There's no need that it doesn't have to be a replacement for the trees that are dying there. You could be planting anywhere, and you could choose any species you like. I think an honorary tree for somebody, you might want to think about something that's flowering. A smaller tree. It's a little more ornamental. But I don't know. I think the trees, the beeches, we should replace with lindens. And then if you want to plant an honorary tree for somebody, you'd pick a smaller ornamental. That's the way I would do it. A dogwood, a crabapple, a magnolia. There are all sorts of ornamentals, a red bud that you could choose,
any thoughts?
Sounds good to me.
Can you hear me, Brian?
Hello, Shirley?
Yeah, I'm trying to get on, but I can't seem to make it through. Can you hear me?
You can hear you now, yep.
Okay. Brian, what is the how long does it take a linden to get to be about a 30-foot high tree?
Well, it would all depend on how big you plant it, of course, but none of us will live to see that. I'm sorry to say.
My concern is that we're going to make a big statement when we start cutting down those elm trees. We need to plant something that's going to grow quickly in their place. Not all of them, but at least to kind of cut the shock of having those trees gone as soon as we can.
That's kind of what I've been suggesting, is that we're not going to cut the beech trees now. We're going to concentrate on planting replacements that'll be somewhat established when we have to take the beech trees out 6 or 8 years from now.
Let me stop you a second. Let's first decide on the Malpe tree.
Yeah.
What we're going to do. We're talking about, are we fixed on doing it in the fall or the spring, first of all? You're saying in the fall, the best time is August, September, right?
Yeah,
Brian?
you're going to have better success with planting a tree if it's planted in the fall, and for most species. Now, again, it depends on what we choose for a tree, but that's my preference, is for fall planting.
Okay, we need a decision. I mean, Brian's giving us some options, folks. Ornamental or just a regular tree. Where are we going to go? Any thoughts on this? Steve, any
Ornamental, whenever we put in a tree in memory of someone. I think it
Ornamental?
should be ornamental. It should be something like a Sergeant Cherry or something that's going to be a substantial tree that's going to have predictable flowering.
Okay. Steve, any thoughts on that? You're muted, Steve. Steve, you're muted.
How's that? Is that better?
Okay.
I mean, my only thought is, I mean, I'd like to see where actually the spot is that we're talking about, because, I mean, it has to look like it's not just a tree that's placed someplace in isolation. It's in with a group of other trees, and they have to complement each other, right? I mean, you don't want one that's taking all of the ones that are already there, and you don't want if it's an ornamental, and I like that idea too. But if it's just a small little replacement at a spot where there was a majestic tree before, so I don't know. I just like to take a look at it myself.
All right. Okay. Obviously, there is no absolute rush to make a decision right now, but I think we need to decide two things for a future meeting. One, where do we want to plant it? And two,
Yeah.
what type of tree? Is that
Exactly.
okay? So can we?
And when?
Pardon me?
I'm sorry. And when? And I agree with Brian that the
And
fall is
when?
probably the right time.
Okay. How do we want to do this? Brian, when you're around, can we meet, maybe pick out a spot?
Yeah, I'll be in town. I'm planning on Thursday morning. I'm going to be looking for trees, hazard trees, but I can certainly go by the town common while I'm in town. I want to take a look further down the road there too, and look at make an inventory of the ash trees that are going to be dead. We've already taken a couple of them out, but there's going to be a lot more. That'll give me a better idea of what we might need for the other project of the broader planting,
All
how
right.
big that might be.
I'm available Thursday mornings. Anybody else available that can meet with Brian and we pick out a spot for the Maltby tree? Shirley, Steve, anybody? I'll tell you what, Ryan, why
Yeah,
don't you
I'm just
tell
checking
me
my
the
calendar.
time? Ryan, tell me the time you can meet.
About
Now,
10 o'clock would work for me.
10 Thursday?
Yes.
What
Okay.
time, Brian?
10,
10 o'clock. Sorry,
10
go ahead.
a.m. on the common.
Thursday, Shirley.
That's the 15th. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to open my calendar. You talk about this Thursday?
Yes.
Okay. And you're there in the morning, Brian? Do you know about what time you'll be in town?
10 o'clock.
I can meet
Okay.
10 o'clock Thursday morning.
Okay.
Great.
And by the way, don't tell Josh that we're meeting, because then we have to have that's a quorum, which means we have to post it. So nobody heard that.
I'm good with wherever you want to put it on the common. I mean,
All right. Anyway, I will send out a reminder to those of you that have agreed to do it, if I remember, at 10 o'clock Thursday morning on the common. Good. Great. All right. I didn't
We'll
realize.
meet on the common, is that correct?
I'm sorry, Shirley?
We'll meet on the common, is that correct?
Yes, on the common. 10 o'clock on the common, Thursday.
Got it.
All right. New business. Mary McGrath, counselor, emailed me. I think I told you the last meeting, if I would come and meet with other people that are involved in the common, like the historic district and so forth, and a couple other counselors, as to try to get committees to work together on the common. I think it's a good idea. And we did meet. Nothing was decided. Brian came also, and I think he did a great job of letting people know the problem of the common and the types of trees and so forth. I just want to mention it. I think there'll be another meeting in the future, and I'll keep you posted. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
tree planting for the spring. I'm not sure exactly how much money we have in the budget, but we must have a decent amount to still plant trees. I think we need some sort of program in terms of where we need to plant trees. We were planting 7 or 8 a year. I wish we could do more. Maybe Brian, again, if trees are coming down, whether we need to talk about replacing some of the trees that have been cut down, we can determine what needs to be done and where. And again, Brian, is your recommendation regarding planting, is it for all trees in the fall, or in other words,
There are some species that you can only get in the spring and must be planted in the spring. Birch would be an example, but otherwise, it's my preference. It's just that the summer you have the heat and drought. It can be very difficult to keep up with watering, even with bags and that sort of thing. If you
Okay.
plant in the fall, the plant is moving that way anyways. That's when they put on a lot of root growth, and you don't have that heat and drought stress over the winter. Usually, you're getting adequate moisture. By the time we get into that kind of a challenge for the plant, it'll be July, August of the following year. It'll have had almost a year to get settled in place. That the survival rate is better on, in my opinion, on fall plantings.
All right, maybe Brian, what you can do, we're asking a lot of you, over the next couple of meetings,
That's
if you
true.
could give us a recommendation of where we should spend money on plantings.
Well, I think we've already got it. We've got the town common, and then as you go down, I think it's 104. That might be 106 going north. There's a whole bunch of ash trees in that area that are dead. A bunch of sephoras, and then ash trees. They're going to have to be replaced. They're all dead. So those are targets right away, and that's highly visible area too. It's going to look like heck with the trees die and fall apart. It really will need planting.
How about Main Street?
That may be Main Street. I'm not familiar with the name of the road. But as you come out of the common going north, that's the area I recognize.
Yeah.
Right in front of that mall,
Yeah, that's Broad Street, yeah.
Paul has already taken a couple of those trees out because they were dead.
That's Route 18, right?
Yeah, it's Route 18.
I will add, Brian, just for your information, if there's a development that's supposed to go in across from Roach Brothers, that I'm not there, it hadn't started yet, but everything's been approved. I believe they will pay for sidewalks and maybe some planting along there also. The whole stretch across Roach Brothers, so that may help.
Well, I'll have a better idea on that Thursday morning. I'll take a closer look on that street when we meet. We can talk about that too. But I think we already, if you have a small budget for planting already, we already have the places that need to be planted.
I'm not sure the exact amount we have left in the mitigation budget, but I think it's probably 15,000 anyway. So we should plant
That sounds about right.
the whole thing.
Down across from Roach Brothers, I would think though, if maybe we could find out if the developer is going to be restoring the sidewalk with the trees, because we would actually, the ideal time to do it would be all at one, and hopefully they can use, a more appropriate urban tree planting detail that would even give those trees more root space to grow under the sidewalk with, structural soils and basically help avoid what is happening elsewhere in the downtown with all the sidewalks buckling up because the roots don't have anywhere to go and they start, Brian, I don't know what you call it, but basically that's been the problem with all those downtown trees.
Yes.
I'm wondering if we could work with that developer, hopefully maybe they can pilot a detail that maybe we could extend throughout, ultimately at some point when the streets around the common are restored, maybe there's a better detail for those. Technically the downtown area is urban compared to the way we plant trees elsewhere on the other streets that have a lot more space.
Yes.
The roots can only go under the street or the sidewalk, and they need more space, so they technically need more soil. You can't do that in just a little tree pit. You end up needing to properly do it with a bigger excavation, hence why you would do it when you're doing sidewalk work.
I was
Also
on,
species choice too.
I was on the planning board when that was approved, and I believe
Right.
sidewalks were agreed to that they would put,
Okay.
remember of the
And
developer,
plan.
they were pretty good at agreeing to compromises, so we'll work something out. Josh, I just got a notification that the internet connection is unstable. Is that just me or everybody?
I think that might just be you,
Oh,
but
thanks.
you're coming in clear, so.
Okay. All
Ray,
right.
can you hear me?
I'm
Ray,
sorry, Shirley?
can you hear me?
Yes.
I
Faintly.
think we ought to get an agreement with the developer, but that's going to be one of the last things that are going to go on in that development. We don't plant trees until all the heavy equipment is out and everything else is stable. So
Right.
sidewalks and trees can be agreed upon, but they won't be done until the very end of the project.
Right, right. Exactly. Okay. Um,
Well, how does that get addressed?
um, I'll email planning board. Pat Driscoll, the chair. He'll know. I'll email him.
Yeah, they usually approve the plans and then that's the end of their involvement. So timing is another concern, right?
Well, I think we're probably, I don't know, even if the planting would even take place this year for that development, because they haven't started yet. And
No.
we're talking probably at least next year for the planting to
Oh,
take.
yeah, or the following.
Yeah, fall of next year. Yeah. All right. Um, okay, now I put native tree discussion up because I think we need to talk about this. Pat has consistently, logically talked about the need for native trees. She gave me a book to read on it and gave a good argument for native trees. I know Brian has said, well, there's some exceptions needed. I take it that, Pat, you prefer to see a hard, fast rule that we only plant native trees in Bridgewater. I'm open, I'm not the expert here. And I can see if there are certain times when a native tree in a certain spot may not work well, then maybe you need another variety of trees. But I just thought we would discuss this and come up with some sort of decision for ourselves as to what we want to do. So I'll just open it up to what you want. Pat, why don't you start?
Well, I think that there's probably always going to be a native species that could be equal to something that, is not native that you might be considering. I mean, you could always find something that will grow the same way. And, I've been following this native planting theory for many years now, and I believe in it. But, we can always talk about substituting a native if someone comes up with something that's non-native.
Pat,
Yes.
again, just quickly summarize why native.
Well, native trees are just better for the environment and the pollinators that thrive off of them. And I think this has all come about because of the decline in our pollinators and our birds that thrive on these native species. And it's something that's being followed and agreed upon throughout the country. So, and I've been, as I say, following it for many years. So I'm brainwashed. I think it's the way to go. Um, I've been drinking the Kool-Aid, and that's what I hope we can do. That's one of the reasons I'm just interested in trees, as all of you are. But it sounds like a great theory to get the pollinators' growth back, and they're better for our environment.
Somebody else? Steve, Brian, Nicole, Shirley?
I just think I certainly love native plants. I just don't think that you should have a hard and fast rule that that's all you're going to plant. Um, a lot of the others, and the reason that people are against exotics is because the history of exotic plants has been so bad. Things like Norway maples and Japanese
Right.
knotweed, those are all brought in as ornamentals.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some places where um, um, other trees will give us some that are more suitable to this planting situation and give us some resistance. A perfect example is the sephoras, the scala trees that that are in the area that I just discussed, where all the native ash died of emerald ash borer. The sephoras are still there, and we're not going to have any problems with those. There's no disease or insect issues with them. Ginkgo would be another example. It's not a native, but it has a lot of advantages as a street tree. You'd be precluding those sorts of choices. So I think we would certainly have a tendency towards native trees. For instance, swamp red maple is a great street tree, except that it needs to be watered. But otherwise, an excellent street tree. That would be a good choice. Again, if you go for straight natives, there aren't that many left. What do we use?
Somebody else?
I guess
Well,
my only thought would be that we did develop the list for the supplemental list that was going to go with the tree ordinance for public street trees, and we did develop a list to give to the planning board regarding what should be planted for subdivisions and so on. And we did, I think, make sure that every plant on that list was native and was part of, like, maybe even the Plymouth County native tree lists or whatnot. I think there always was a little asterisk that at the discretion of the town, something different could, so we weren't like locking it in, but we didn't specifically list any non-native trees as the initial preferred list. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
That conversation coming up again in the past.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe our little disclaimer could allow for some budging if it makes sense on a case by case basis. But maybe
Nicole, I
Brian should
believe-
revisit those lists.
Yeah, let me revisit the list and see what's there. Like I say, I certainly would favor native trees where it's appropriate, but I think you should not make a rule that limits your choices, because there are other places it's not going to be appropriate.
Just to
Zelkova,
clarify,
we have, there are all sorts of examples of trees that we've used on the streets that have worked out well, that are not native.
just to clarify, the list we gave the planning board is for trees in subdivisions, in new subdivisions. It is not necessarily for street trees. All right, Steve, any comments? Shirley, anybody?
Yeah, we were getting. I was getting.
Breaking up,
Oh,
Steve.
You were coming in and out. I'm thinking about, which might be, I mean, everybody's probably aware of it. Or yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. I mean, the American elm is an obvious native tree that would not be a good choice to plant, and really should not be planted. But, in its place, you might plant a Zelkova. Now, I'm not 100% sure if that's native or not, but if you're looking for something to replace with a similar form in an area like the Common, it would be important to kind of replace the form that you're looking for too. That's what your tree. Are we looking just for form, or are we just looking for, pretty ornamentation or whatever? But so
you give a perfect example. The American elms that are being planted, there's no resistance in that group of trees. That they're a land race. They were initially developed by the Boy Scouts. The only reason they're doing so well, the elm is a great street tree until Dutch elm disease comes through, and eventually a more virulent form of that. It's only not killing them now because it killed off everything that was susceptible at one point. There'll be another more virulent strain that'll come through and wipe out all those trees. They're being overplanted now. It's not a good idea. There's no resistance in that group, and that's a perfect example.
Yeah. I don't think we included that type of tree for our tree list for trees in streets. I
Yeah.
think we ended up getting some guidance from DCR because they were doing all those plantings in the gateway cities. And we cross-referenced our initial list with their suggestions for what can be really hardy and durable in the street. I still think they were all
Mhm.
native, but we can revisit that.
Yeah, let me take a look at it because they will have a
Yeah.
good list.
Okay.
Shirley,
They will, their
Shirley,
list
any
will be good.
comments?
Yeah, I've talked with Pat.
Can't hear you, Shirley.
I've talked with Pat, and I just don't think we should jump into a hard and fast rule on tree planting at this point. I'm really concerned with what's going to happen on the common, and I want to be sure that what we do there is going to be able to be done in a way in which we can replace those beech trees with something that's going to grow fairly quickly and fairly tall and be shaped like a beech tree or the maple tree that we're used to seeing in the downtown area. A hard and fast rule may lock our hands in terms of some of the decisions we might want to make down the road in terms of tree replacement. And so I'd like to keep the door open. The emphasis should be on native trees, but there should be allowed an exception here and there, is my feeling on that.
Hey, I have a question for those of you that know more than I do, which is most everybody. What about Pat's point about pollinators? If we bring in the non-native trees, are we hurting the ability of us to help the pollinators in our area? In other
Not
words, how-
necessarily, and I'll give a perfect example. Going back to Japanese knotweed, which is a nasty invasive introduced. It's a wonderful for pollinators, though. I'm a beekeeper, and it gives wonderful honey in August and September when there aren't many things flowering. So, again, that's an introduced invasive that helps out pollinators big time. So it's not necessarily true that by planting, non-native plants that we're excluding pollinators.
Okay. Anybody else? What I'm hearing is either that we are not going to have a hard, fast rule about non-native trees, or we're simply putting it off for another discussion in the future. Pat, I don't know. Anything?
Well, we are a committee, so you don't have to, and we'll probably vote on different things. But that's,
Look at.
it'll be disappointing to me, but.
I would recommend that we table the discussion and bring it up another time. Think about it some more. Let's take a look at the other lists and see what's going on. We don't have a consensus, that's for sure. Not that, and I don't have any votes, so it doesn't matter. But as I say, my preference would be to not have a hard and fast rule.
We can always have exceptions, but exceptions to the rule.
I would agree with Brian that we should postpone the final decision. I will say this. I felt that up until looking at the book that Pat gave me to read, I basically felt that, exceptions are exceptions, so what? But it did make a strong argument for native trees.
Yeah, keystone species, right.
It seems to me that if we have exceptions, which may be the way to go, then we should have a pretty strong general rule is that if there is a native tree that's available in a particular spot, that we use it versus a non-native tree.
If it has, equal abilities or look or.
Yeah. Well, I think the important thing, based on Brian's point, is just whether it can grow in the spot that we're planting it. That seems to me
Right.
Yeah, it's always the right tree, the right spot. So it's a mistake to make a general rule that applies to a location. We determine the locations where we're gonna plant trees, and then we figure out what trees are appropriate. That's kind of how it should work.
Okay. All right, is it all right with all of you that we sort of bring this up again? And then we can, well, all do our own research and maybe we can come to some sort of a general consensus at a later time, okay? All right. Okay. I sent the year-end summary to you guys and I got some you got Steve corrected something and I decorrected it and I sent it in today, so it's done. Anything else? Am I missing something? Anybody want to bring something up?
No, I
Okay.
do have to I do have to run to another meeting though, so I am gonna jump off in a second.
What could be more important than
All
this?
right, guys.
Just
I'm
tell your other
sorry.
meeting, just tell the other meeting you'll have to wait. I'm in a tree.
Okay,
Okay,
I
No,
will. I'm
okay.
sorry. I get
No,
paid
no.
for the other meeting.
No. We're done. Can I have a
Thanks,
motion?
guys.
Anything else anybody want to bring up? All right, well, thank you, everybody. This has been a longer meeting than I anticipated, but it was good. I'm not sure we decided in terms of definite decision.
Anything? Yeah.
It was a good
Well,
meeting. Okay,
I'll see some of you on Thursday at 10 then.
right. Okay.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion seconded. Or I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Bye now.